policy analysts who use the term, the ultimate aim of the think tank is, after all, with its policy analysis, to improve the policy making process, public policy, I'm sorry, to improve the public policy. So in our case, that's exactly what we are trying to do, but for some reason we have to deal with a political party program. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear. I cannot hear myself. So, we're fighting with the political party program. There is something in the program, and the government is dedicated, committed to implement whatever is in that program, and there is no way you can actually even get closer to come up with an alternate solutions to the specific public policy that is in the political program, the political party program. Second, stock of policy knowledge and experts, or lack of policy knowledge and experts in the field. You mentioned there was a comment about Iraq. You know, what do you do when there is a not planned event is happening and then you have to take a stand? Well, living in U.S. for some time, I realized that after September 11, the next day on the newspapers there were extensive analysis of what brought September 11 and how we deal with this disaster. Well, if something had happened to that extent in Macedonia, believe it or not, I mean, it would have taken about 5 days to come up with an analysis of what has happened, because we don't have any experts who can actually bring a knowledge that can deal with an unexpected situations. Well, prestige is an important factor. Again, you said you're coming from the Carnegie, and I understood what you meant. Even in this audience, everybody understood. Well, believe it or not, it's even difficult to, when you have a conversation with your friend who is in the decision making, who has some influence in the decision making. When you're saying that you're coming from an organization, then somehow it makes it uncomfortable to talk with you about. So there is a secrecy going on, a lot of secrecy going on about what is happening in the government. No transparency at all. So it's difficult, even with your friends. So go to your network. Doesn't even that work perfectly well? Mm. It's bringing up, but it's developing, but it's still not there yet. Politicization. Okay, I have to. No, I'm trying to. No, it's not. It's not a question actually. I'm trying to. Potential problems that we'll deal with as an analytica. Yeah, but okay. Politicization. What do you do with that? I mean, the first question you get from a decision maker is, who is your donor? Who is supporting you? Why you are so interested in coming up with your policy analysis, and why you are so interested in giving us to your opinion about it? We know exactly what we are trying to do. So, okay, I mean, there are many other things that I need, probably I should bring up, but thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Let's go with this, like just about 4 questions, and then I will collect more. I'll ask other people really to be a bit brief. Go ahead, Peter.
I'm going to wrap all your questions up into one. I mean, I grew up in Belfast in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and I worked on the Good Friday Agreement, which brought peace. Every time a bomb went off, every time somebody was murdered, it threw us back months where there was no way you could be allowed to be approaching terrorist groups and trying to find a common cause. And we did it in secret. We did it quietly. We did it privately. We got other groups to do it. There were people who went out and did this stuff. Because always, if you're doing the right thing, if you're explaining why you're trying to do something, there will be a market there for it somewhere. Even if it's a small private network, there will always be a group of supporters there. So, and eventually we got there after 30-odd years. It doesn't happen overnight, it doesn't happen easily. You say it's impossible to get at the policy-making process. I don't believe that. There is always a way to influence. Those policymakers must listen to someone. They must keep an eye on the temperature in certain media circles or in certain middle-class circles or whatever else. I don't believe you can't find an audience. There's always a way to do it. It's difficult, and it'll take you time. But again, That comes back to your initial product and knowing that audience first. Don't decide what you want to do first. Decide what the market needs, what the market will bear, and try and find a way to pitch yourself. If you're simply going to go for what's perfect, I think you're going to probably, and there isn't an existing market, I think you're going to run into a lot more difficulties than if you start off incrementally. So I just think I don't minimize the difficulties of operating in that environment, but there is a way to gradually build up a cadre of support for your work. And I'm sure you will be surprised how much actually exists. And if the work is strong enough and non-toxic enough that you're not doing it to poke a finger in a political eye, then you'll start to build an audience. But again, you know, all of us, we're seen as a left-wing, liberal, biased, pinko, you know, in the United States. What we're doing with our new vision is to try and take ourselves off that left-right political axis, where every institution in America is judged. We're trying to say, we're not on it. We're global. We're thinking about people in Russia and China. We're bringing all the views to the table. And we have quite a few Republicans and several neocons on our staff. Primarily we're, I would say, Democratic and slightly to the left, but there are others, you know, such as Bob Kagan and Ashley Tellis, who's just run the India civil nuclear deal for the administration. We look for balance.
I have a number of questions, and I would like to ask you to be brief and to the point. Start with David, Tina, and then we go in this row.
Okay, thank you very much for this very interesting intervention. And very briefly, I'm David Aprasida from Georgia. One of the recent questions was aimed at the situation when the target audience is very hostile towards your product. Mm-hmm. But my question is touches more the situation when your colleagues inside the institution are very, I would not say hostile, but maybe resistant towards new novelties and to implement some strategies. I have seen you have a great experience to work for different institutions, and I can imagine that there are some situations when it's very difficult to become a member of the old team and to argue that you need some changes. What would you advise? How would you deal with the situation in this kind of collect something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm also from Georgia. My question is, how do you work with the audiences in the other countries in which Carnegie is not presented? Like, you did great things with regard to the Georgian Russian war. There have been very interesting views, assessments. But we tried to, so I personally was following your website and circulating these articles among our network and friends, whoever was interested. But how is your strategy? How do you work with, for example, in this case, have you worked with Georgian audience?
Hi, my name... Yeah, is it on? Yeah. My name is Helena Klitsinova. I'm from Russia, also work as policy communication trainer for LGI. And I have a very short question. What do you do in Carnegie to make good researchers become great policy paper writers?
$1 million question.
I have one more question.
It takes more than that.
Hi, I'm Ivana. I come from Center for Regional Policy Research, Macedonia. I have a short question also. Is more better? Is more communication better? Because we have the myth that the more you're out there, present in the media, your emails, your policies are circulating around, the donors will notice you, that governments maybe will notice you and maybe label you as an expert. So my question is, what is the fair share of communication strategy we need to use in order to, make our point and not to be, too much out there? Thanks.
Yeah. I'll go in reverse order. And Viola said annoying. I think it's right. I'm in constant touch with our target audiences, all of them. Just for lunches, for coffee, for alcohol reasons, but simply saying, what do you think? Are you getting too much? Am I bugging the hell out of you? Do you want more? and they'll say, please, no more emails. So, you know, the Hill staff, we go at them when we've got one product and we hold a meeting. And they can turn up and they'll tell you the meeting must be under an hour, not a 2-hour debate. And, you know, we tailor every single thing we do carefully. More